Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of OSC News and Highlights for December 13th and 14th of 2017. With me, as always, is the excellent Eddie Edwards. Eddie, what's up, mate?
G'day, guys. Just back from a 2-week holiday, fresh and ready to go.
Yeah, where did you go?
I went to Hawaii, a family vacation for a couple of weeks. So, yeah, beautiful.
Man, you and Damon are hitting up Hawaii. Damon, you were in Hawaii not too long ago, too, weren't you?
Yeah, I went in August.
God, you guys are too lucky. Too lucky, taking some nice trips. I'm stuck here in cold Minneapolis. It was, I think they said it was 10 degrees with the wind today. So, and I was out and about, and it was chilly. You can see I've got my all-natural face warmer, to help protect me against the elements. And let me tell you, you need it. It's very cold. But joining us today as our guest is Damon Knight, a.k.a. FlithyRake, who is the sponsor of the Filthy NA Cup for both StarCraft 2 and for a while was Brood War. So, welcome to the show, Damon.
Thanks, great to be here.
Good to have you, man. So let's just kick it off here. So Eddie, welcome back. Hopefully you enjoyed your vacation. Hopefully you're ready to get back to work, though. Is the real question. Are you ready to get back to work?
Yeah, busy time of the year for us at OSC with the season wrapping up very soon and planning for our end-of-year championship with the top 50 players, $10,000 plus. That'll be the first 2 weeks of January, so busy. Come back and everybody's doing things at the same time. We've got WESG, IEM,
right,
WCS qualifiers, so makes my work a little bit harder. So got my hands full. But we have a big team and we're going to work it out. And just talking with Blizzard at the moment about the WCS, NA, and EU qualifier time, so we can try and avoid a bit of overlap and still get the players who qualify for our championship, still get them playing, which they've earned throughout the year. So busy times ahead, and we're still got a plan for 2018 at the same time. So got some exciting ideas in the works there too.
Yeah, excellent. Eddie's always thinking, always got something, cooking up something for the bigger and better for OSC. So that's some good stuff. Yeah, there's a lot going on, and a lot of drama here too with these disqualifications and stuff. So, but we'll get into that here a little bit later too. So it's been a pretty drama intensive last couple weeks. Actually, there's been a lot of little things here and there kind of popping up.
Drama or memes?
Well, that's the whole.
There's always memes.
it's Memageddon, all right. Like, I'm ready for it to be done. I'll be honest. I'm tired of these two games. I started playing Terran. That's how tired I was of Protoss memes. So, but
I'm surprised you don't have a 2-gate overlay for us. Just put it on the eyes, mate. We'll
right?
get the views.
That's how we do it. We'll fix that. We'll put that in the thumbnail for the episode. We'll all have it. But yeah, just wanted to say thanks for the guys who really stepped up while Eddie was away. That helped out. Illusory, Light, and Azelis. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, Azelis, one of our main casters at OSC, and she does a lot of work with the Proxy Tempest.
Yeah.
In Europe as well. She also does some adminning. She really stepped up. Illusory was acting executive while I was away, running everything, making sure all the casters and events were set up. And Light VIP, new to the team, but he did a lot of work on SC2 Online and making sure the events were updated and the site was running smooth. So those three in particular, a big shout out, and everybody as well at the team. We've got a pretty big team. I think about 20 paid regular staff and like 20 volunteers now to make everything run smoothly. So they stepped up, and I wasn't the only one away. Nemesis was away as well, and Illusory did some casting in Malaysia. So that's the only way we get it done, is by working together. So big thanks to everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. For stepping up, and everyone did a really nice job. We barely even knew you were gone.
Well,
so
that's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
Absolutely. But yeah, so let's jump into one of the coolest things so far is, let's talk about how OSC has the league passes 500 completed tournaments this year. So let's go ahead and I'll show everyone the tweet. So OSC League passes 500 completed 2017 events, and that's not including the Brood War or the show matches. So that's pretty impressive, stat for 2017. So hopefully, we'll keep on the grind for 2018 and get even more. What's the goal? 750?
There's only so many days in the year, but yeah, it's a massive milestone and really great effort from all our partners that run the tournaments and everything like that, all the admins, all the casters. So we've got it to the stage where basically you're looking at 2+ tournaments a day for StarCraft at the moment, and we built the circuit to something like that. So it's a really fantastic milestone. When you think about 500 in a year, 500 anything, it's a lot of anything. So really happy with that, and let's build on it next year. Sky's the limit. We can just keep pushing.
Absolutely. And then we also had, while you were gone, the $1,000 Master Cups. We had 105, 106, 107, and we're currently on 108 right now. But let's go ahead and go back to 105 and actually take a look at the winners for that. So we had in first place, Psystorm Gumiho. Damon's got to be happy about that one.
Yeah.
As well as Keen, Classic, and Natural coming in fourth. And then we also had for the, what was this, number 6, Soul. So, Eddie, you got to be happy about that one. Our boy Soul coming in first, followed by Snoot, Nice, and Hellraiser. So, a good back and forth, because then for number 7, we see Gumiho win again. So, a nice little back and forth for him. But, and I'm right, these are, Koreans can only play in every other, right? Is that how it works?
Yes. So the format for this series of events now is that one is open globally. So that was 105 and 107, which Gumi God won both. So that's awesome for him. And then the second one and fourth one in a space is open to WCS circuit. So yeah, that's non-Korean, except if you've got a citizenship or visa or something. So True could play in those. So yeah, one of each. Spread it around.
Perfect. And now let's take
same prize pools, same format.
Right. Now let's take a look at our participants for 108. We got Rail, Strange, Soul, Euthermal, B, Bly, Demi, Niastic. Now this is a bit of the drama. Now the Puck Ub. Is that, I don't know if is that how we're gonna say it?
I'm not sure how you said it. I say Puck UB.
Puck UB, right? Sort of Yuko and then Vivid, but the Puck UB, there's a little bit of drama with that, and we as one of our next topics here. So let's dive into that, because what we found out that there's reports of that apparently being a Smurf account. There is an actual player that goes by that ID who does occasionally play, correct?
Yeah, fairly active Taiwanese Zerg or Terran. He's lower level, maybe I think around Diamondish. He's quite active. But yeah, I woke up this morning to the news that the Masters Cup qualifier, which had just finished up, a little bit of drama out of that, and it wasn't actually Puck UB playing. It was a different challenge account, and the results would have been quite surprising for someone of that level. I think 2-0 Mio Micah, 2-0 Bly, amongst some other victories there. And there's been a bit of news and investigation on Twitter, and I believe it has been admitted that it was Korean player Penguin, high Zerg, top 10 OSC rankings, top participation Hall of Fame player who was ineligible to play in a non-Korean event. So we're going to have to investigate this further, but if so, that is extremely disappointing that he would do that. There seems to be a little bit of thinking to use someone else's ID to play in a tournament that he's ineligible for. So the process for this, or any thing that requires investigation or potential action from OSC, is we assemble a review panel of generally 5 or 6 OSC staff, managers. It might be our player representatives or project managers, and we review all the data. So you're talking replays, might be hotkey analysis statements from those involved, and then collectively we form a decision, and if there's any penalty to be applied after that. So that will seem to be going underway for something like this.
Right.
Not sure who'll be on the panel. That'll be determined by the team, and an outcome will come from that. So I can't speak too much about my own thoughts in case I'm required to be on it or anything like that. Just
Right.
from the news that I'm seeing, it's quite disappointing. If it is Penguin, seems to be admitted, but he's potentially throwing away thousands of dollars in prizes. Like, he's in the running for the OSC team championship. He's #1 in the participation competition. So yeah, that would be quite disappointing. So by all reports, he's quite a young player, I believe. But yeah, so anyway, we're going to have to review that. Maybe you guys can speak your own opinions of something like this or Smurfing.
Well, first, let's just make sure this is not Psystorm Penguin, the Zerg player from Psystorm. It's the Korean player Penguin, the Zerg from Korea. So
yes, there are two.
Yes.
But yeah, the Korean player from currently on Dusk Gaming. He's been around quite a while. He's a high-level player. You'll see him in a lot of tournaments. I think he's played in over 110 OSC partnered events this year, so super active. So that's the player, yeah.
I think it's actually pretty disappointing when someone who's that active does something like this, because they've been around long enough to know the rules. They can't claim ignorance on this. This is something that's it's been established since day one. You segregated these tournaments to to include global tournaments, so that the Koreans are included. And for him to kind of sidestep this, it's kind of, I think, a little bit of a slap in the face, considering how many tournaments he's won and participated in and all the things he's in the running for.
I mean, from my perspective, right, this is a little bit, I mean, if it proves to be him, right, obviously, I don't know, but if it proves to be him, he can't really claim ignorance, right? Like, he's playing on someone else's account or with someone else's ID. You do that because to get around the rule. You were getting around the rule.
Right.
Now, that really just kind of says, right, like, he's doing it presumably for the easy money, right? He goes, cool, right? I can play in this non-Korean event. I'll be able to get a quick win, get some money. Life is good, right? I see the thought process. I see the logic, but that then becomes, if you don't step down hard on it, right, that becomes an appealing thing. Right. Other players can go, oh man, yeah, hey, that's a great idea, right? I can make some money that way. So like when you see this sort of thing, like I feel bad saying it because I know, right, the player doesn't probably mean to be doing that bad of a thing. They probably don't think it's that bad of a thing, but you tend to have to come down super hard and make an example.
Right. Yeah, for someone who's especially younger, it might be a thing where they're like, I'm just trying to make some more money. I'm also just trying to play more games. So it seems like an innocent enough thing, but when you're taking away, the opportunity of others, and, skirting these rules, kind of like Damon said, it's like you kind of feel like you need to make an example of them and kind of, lay down the law, so to speak, if it is indeed true.
Yeah, I mean, if a Psystorm player, for example, were caught doing that, and I found out about it, I would be pushing for that player to be off the team immediately.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I don't want to jump the gun because we still need to do the legwork on this and find out if it's true or not. But
innocent,
it's disappointing.
Innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah. Innocent.
That's right. We're going to encourage it. A statement from him and work with his team as well to represent him, as well as looking through all the evidence. So there is a process. It's not like bang, you're gone sort of thing, or we have to investigate properly.
Yep. But moving on from that and into lighter news, there's only 1 week left in the 2017 season. Actually, Damon, do you want to hang up and then redial your camera's froze?
Oh, I will do that.
And we'll just wait patiently for him to come back to us. He was making that same face for a while, so I figured he was either very enthused or the camera was frozen. It was one or the other. Alrighty, there we go. Good to have you back.
Good to be back.
Okay. But yeah, only 1 week left. in the 2017 season. So we will actually conclude with the Masters 108 finals, Wardy Christmas Invitational finals, in a big double event on Wardy's channel. So you'll have to make sure you follow Wardy for that. And then we have the $10,000 championship with top 50 players to run 2 weeks of January. The dates are going to be out soon. You know, we're kind of figuring that out, right, Eddie, between like the EU and NA qualifiers and stuff. So we're trying to make sure that we don't have a ton of overlap. We want to make sure people are, you know, have time to get ready for this and to play the whole thing out.
Yeah, 1 week to go. Exciting. And a big finale on Wardy's stream. As you mentioned, there are 2 events there. So, yeah, everything seems to be happening in January. But we're going to try and accommodate and try and avoid clashing with all the qualifiers that are running, and try and still get the top 50 players who have earned that finals chance. And they're all going to be paid, and there can only be one champion each year. So we want to see the best players who have earned it play. So more details will come. We're just trying to work out like when WCS, EU, and NA qualifiers are running. I believe the ANZ qualifiers will be running as well, but we can be a little bit flexible with the times. So there'll be a four days of group stage, playoffs, and then we have the championship bracket, which will probably be split up into like 3 or 4 casts. Otherwise, it would be quite a long innings. We want to cover every single match, stream every single match, so should be good.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we also have the OSC Team Championship season finished. So the prizes now are set for the top teams and clans. So let me go ahead and I'll pull that up here so we can see what that looks like. So congratulations to 1F Pro, who ended up coming in first place, followed by Rival Gaming, Clan Bear Me, Psystorm Gaming in 4th, and OSC Elite in 5th. I think OSC is actually the most impressive, only because they had you guys had the split mid-season.
Yeah, well, we've only been formed about 6 months, but all the players are super active and fairly well high performing, so they get a lot of points through activity and results. But yeah, the rankings ended at the end of November for the season. So throughout, I think, the last 8 months, all the registered teams and clans have been participating in events and earning points that way, like a small season. And now we're going to have the finals at the end for the top placing teams and clans, for more money as well as the trophy. So that's when we'll have the streamed matches of all those that have qualified for that. So we're just going to have to confirm availability, and we're going to probably run that January and February. So it should be cool to see some team v team streamed games coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like it was top 12. So that'll consist of 1F Pro, Rival, Bear Me, Psystorm Gaming, OSC Elite, Sloth Esports Club, SYF Gaming, Red Bloods, Dust Gaming, Prophecy Esports, Team Expert, and Dead Pixels. So quite an all-star lineup there. There's a lot of great players on a lot of those teams. So this is definitely going to be one of the best team tournaments, you know, for this whole year. Well, for the new year, rather. It'll be a great way to start the new year, since it'll happen in January.
Now, I'm not saying that Psystorm is just going to win, but we're just going to win. I'm sorry, guys.
Well, Gumiho's in form. He'll carry the way.
I don't know. We'll have to see. You know, some of these other players, you know, can come out of nowhere out of left field. So we'll just have to see what happens. There's only one way to find out, right?
Yeah, it'll be a good event to tune into. Cheer on your favorite teams and players. And this whole event was created just to boost activity and get everyone on every team playing in tournaments and have money invested back into those teams who are supporting players to do so, as well as clans and stuff. So it's been quite successful, and really looking forward to the final series coming up. So yeah, that's been good. It's got a starting prize pool of 6,500. The bulk of that was in the season placings and highest clan prize, but there's also going to be, I think, 500 starting, as well as the trophy for the finals. So we might be able to boost that working with Maturino too. So yeah.
Excellent. Now, Eddie, something that it started a little bit before we went on vacation, but we haven't been able to report on it yet. And it's probably the biggest thing to happen in the Australian scene in a very long time is the ANZ Pro League, which started just a couple of weeks back, and we're already kind of getting into the finals of it. And there's been a lot of great games, and it's been a really cool broadcast and presentation that they've done for this. Featuring 1F Pro Gaming, Downfall Gaming, Legacy Esports, OSC Elite, and SYF Gaming. So pretty huge for them to put together something like this, and to be able to play the whole thing out. And I think it's been really cool so far. Yeah,
it has. Credit to Blizzard ANZ for putting it all together and obviously working with head office and such. I think GameStar are the guys who have been running it and doing all the production with Def and Zeph regular casters. It's sort of like a really fast mini team league. 5 teams each play each other once and finals. Bit of money to all the teams, with first place I think about 1,400, 1,500. So yeah, it's really got a lot of hype in the C region. Despite there only being 5 teams to start with, really good quality teams are playing in it. And we've had a lot of series, from what I've seen, go to the ace match. Yeah. So that's been quite cool as well. So it's been, I'd say, a good start. Hopefully we see it come back, probably with a longer format, I would suggest. But yeah, it's really great. Like, everybody loves it. One of the things that I've enjoyed to come out of it is NXZ, the player NXZ. He does a recap, so I've enjoyed tuning into that when I can. He goes through all the games and everything like that, so that's been one of the highlights for me. But unfortunately, I haven't been able to watch much of it live because I work when it runs. So it sort of runs in the evening times, Australian time. Quite often I'm working, so I miss it. But cheer on all the guys. SYF looking like taking first place against Legacy, I think. And then Downfall third, who have been a bit of a surprise packet. Team Protoss. So that's been really good. They've got like Blisk as their ace, Ice as the captain. Really cool logo too, a new team. And then who's 1F Pro and OSC Elite, probably going to finish 4th, 5th. Might change. I think we play them this week. Yeah. But overall, it's just a bit of fun and good exposure. It'd be best of ones. So I think everybody's had a go. So the players that have come out of this that I've taken note of would be someone like Lunith, a Protoss player from Downfall, and Pig Jr., Pig's little brother from Legacy. Not household names, but they've come out and taken maps. So that's what I look for in something like this. Not just your big players like your Mighty Kiwi or your Igers or Probe. I look for the guys that might come out and take a map. So that's what I like to see. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and like I said, there's been great games, and they've just done like a great job, with Zeph and Death doing the casting. I thought they've done, a really, really great job. So shout out to those guys for for putting on a great presentation. But yeah, so hopefully the finals here, like you said, SYF Gaming, is in first and Legacy right behind them. So, but yeah, and then hopefully it grows into the following year. It would be great to see, like you said, Eddie, kind of like a longer format. I feel like it was a bit short. It'd be great to see it if we made it a little bit longer, And some of the matches seem to go by quick. I feel like last night's stream, God, I felt like it was only like 15 minutes. It was some very, very quick games. Yeah, that's the thing with best of ones potentially, and just 3 maps if it's a quick series. I think they could, like, depending on caster availability and budget, of course, have maybe two series in a night sort of thing. So you'd be looking for like budget for 3 hours or something like that. Maybe that's something I would suggest for next season if there is one. And then maybe we'll see it take off overseas as well. We might see an NA Pro League or something. That would be pretty cool. Like, I think it's been fairly successful for the region. Like, within the time slot, you're not obviously going to get the viewership of like an EU or Korean heavy event, but it's been quite good. So, and particularly for the players involved, I think they've really enjoyed it. So maybe we'll see it take off elsewhere. That'd be cool.
Yeah, absolutely. In other Australian news, we do have the Probstar Craft League 3000 Championship this weekend in Melbourne. So let's go ahead and we'll take a look at those brackets. So we have Group A with Hut, Pez, NXZ, and Lunith. Group B is Seether, Crimson, Frustration, and Pox. Group C is Azure, Runamuck, Ice, and Phase. And Group D is Igiz, Chase, Eddie, and Wally. So those are some pretty good groups. There's some good names in there. Some bigger names. Eddie, is that you? Are you playing?
I am playing. My hometown event. Got to represent Melbourne. Probably going to be knocked out pretty quick, but still be good 2-day event. This one, $3,000 championship for the circuit that Probes run all year. So he's had his online monthly finals, online cups, and 2 lands previously, and they all sort of end up in this big championship. That's why there's a group stage as well as open bracket where players can come into the groups. So we might see a few more come in and shake up the group dynamics as they currently stand, but there are some really good local players there. You got Seether, Azure, Crimson coming over from New Zealand. Unfortunately, some of the high-ranked players who've done the online things couldn't come, like Mia Mike, Demi, I think Mighty Kiwi. But still, it's going to be a good event. Really fun. Land's always fun. That's the thing. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, definitely.
This weekend.
Definitely.
Check it out if you're in Melbourne. It'll be at Crown, so right in the middle of the city. Come check it out.
Perfect. Let's move on to our Brood War. So we'll take a look at our Brood War leaderboards. And still on top, we have DeWalt with Legionnaire right behind. Legionnaire got knocked off last time from the last show. And DeWalt's, sitting comfortably in the top there. So kind of interesting that, Legionnaire hasn't kind of been able to overtake. Not that he's been slipping, but, it seems like DeWalt has really been, securing himself at the top there.
Yeah, there's been 3 more events run that haven't been added to the rankings, of which I think Scans won one, Eon Zerg, and maybe even DeWalt won another one. So that top 4 might be shaken up a bit, as well as adding the rest. We're just going to be changing over to a NA EU friendly, more friendly time slot now. Our caster Anatsi is going to be running at very early mornings for him. So, but he's really keen and he's enjoying Brood War. So, looking forward to that and maybe getting some more of those foreign pros involved. At the moment, still only once a fortnight. We'd like to run this more, but caster availability is the thing. Right. That's holding us back. We put out for casters. We're prepared to pay a little bit of money to cover these events and obviously put up the prize pools. It's just we haven't found many people willing to cast them. So we'll see and obviously look at putting more into that for 2018.
Right.
It's pretty fun, Brood War. So
yeah.
We'll see what can come of that.
I think it's because casting can be so daunting, especially when it comes to Brood War, because I feel like unlike our community, Brood War is their fans are very serious about their commentation. So I feel like it's very hard to find the right person to do that. So, but no, hopefully it goes well. And
yeah, we initially had some very experienced Brood War casters in Duckville and Death, but the thing we found with the way currently Brood War is at the moment, for these guys, they couldn't join the games live because of the lag, and there was on release there was some issues and things as well with the game client. So they had to be casting from replay, and Brood War games go a long time, so they was already starting quite late for these guys. So it was not sustainable for them. So we're having to probably move it to an NA EU time slot, which we're doing now. Right. But Nancy is a New Zealand caster, so he's going to be doing it from replays anyway. Okay. So it's not an ideal fix, but yeah. How about you, Damon? You run obviously filthy editions of this for a while and maybe a few problems, but how did you find it, like casters and players and everything?
Oh man, I'm not going to say too much about the players. I will say that DeWalt is very skilled. He is excellent as a player. No comments about the community or personalities. We went our separate ways. Some of the casters are really great guys. I worked obviously with Sham2 quite a bit. who was the observer for the Zotac Cup recently that all the big names cast. He's super involved with the community. Great observer, great caster, and obviously Duckville is, as always, fantastic. I've been a fan of his since way back in the After Hours Gaming League days when he was one of our So You Think You Can Cast contestants. So, I mean, there are some really, really great folks in that scene, and a huge amount of passion, unquestionably.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you have a play with feet or play with hands rule?
I didn't have any of those rules, but apparently that was an oversight on my part that I wasn't thinking about.
I think it's okay.
Yeah, that was, I guess, the big meme and news that came out of that big event you mentioned, more so than the actual results, I suppose, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, Larva played really well, and on top of that, he gave us really good showmanship. Playing with his feet and then pretending to sleep later after that too. So he made it entertaining to watch for sure. And actually, and for those that don't know, he did receive a ban from Zotac, but apparently, from what I understand, it's only for Zotac China, not for the NA or not for even for Korea. Only the Chinese were very upset about that. Everyone else seemed to not mind it, kind of think it was funny, and I think it's part of the game. People, boxers like to shit talk, when they square up on each other, and in post game, interviews, players do that, for all other sports. So I think it's fine. I don't think he crossed the line at all, especially the way that he did Crush, because he did beat Legend very badly. So I don't think he overstepped anything at all. But
I think he said that he did it to cater to the NA audience, and
it worked.
Something like that, but it obviously didn't sit well with the home crowd, different cultures. But yeah, it did work. Memes were aplenty.
Yeah, absolutely. Corsair even getting on it, using it to promote their keyboard. So excellent work. But we were talking about the Filthy Cup. Now there's something coming new to the Filthy NA Weekly. Damon, do you want to kind of tell us about that?
Yeah. So in 2017, we were really fortunate. We got partnered up with the wonderful guys at Gauntlet to run our events, which has been really fantastic, and I'm super grateful to those guys for all the hard work they did and for the amazing production value that they were able to get for us. But for 2018, we're no longer partnering with them. Good, leaving on good terms, of course. Nothing but good things to say. But they wanted to move in a different direction. So we are partnering up with Fear Dragon, which is incredibly exciting because I've been a huge fan and supporter of his for years and years. And probably more exciting to our players, instead of being Fridays at 11 a.m. Pacific, when a lot of folks were busy with school and things like that, the event is now going to be at 5:30 p.m. Pacific on Wednesdays, which, in addition to just being a better time for most of our NA or Americas in general, I suppose, players, it's also a better day of the week because it's less likely to conflict with other big tournaments.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very exciting, to get Fear Dragon on board with that. And he also does good production, so you can only imagine, what memes are to come, from his little intermission videos. So I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I'm super hyped about it. When we figured out with Gauntlet that we were not going to be continuing together in 2018, I was definitely worried, right? I spent a lot of time going, man, right? Is this just kind of it? I love the Filthy Cup, but I can't personally run it every week. I just don't have time. So I was definitely a little bit worried that it was just going to mean that the event wasn't going to continue, at least in the way that it's been going now and that I've been really happy with. So when Fear Dragon kind of jumped at the opportunity, I was really happy about it.
Yeah, absolutely. In other news, we did have the IEM Pyongchang announced, and the qualifiers have already happened. And to everyone's surprise and dismay, Scarlet, Neeb, Special, Jon Snow, all disqualified in a freak thing where it clashed with WESG. And actually, Apollo had actually said that they were looking into this, and he would make an update in just a few hours. And that just never happened. So, still not really for sure like what's going on with that. But Damon has actually taken it upon himself to throw an invitational called the I Got DQ'd from IEM Pyongchang. So why don't you explain a little bit about that?
So I will throw out there for potential legal reasons. The word IEM or the initials IEM do not appear anywhere in my tournament name.
Right, it's just I got DQ'd from Pyongchang. It has nothing to do with IEM.
Yeah, I don't want to get myself into any trouble there. So just to be super clear,
absolutely.
But yeah, I was super bummed about it. I was actually like just kind of sitting on my phone reading Twitter, and I saw the news break about this, and I was just like, reaching out to the Gauntlet guys, talking to Jon Snow, going like, hey, like, do we think this is going to get resolved in a sane manner? And the feedback that I just kept getting was, no, the qualifiers have happened, they're done. Like, it's unlikely that anything's going to change at this point.
Right.
So I just kind of said, man, that really sucks.
And what was it? Was it because that the qualifiers were happening at the same time as the WESG?
So it wasn't even that the qualifiers conflicted. It was that the dates for the actual events were too close together, and they weren't sure that players would be able to make it from WESG to IEM, WESG to IEM,
right.
And IEM didn't want to have qualified players who wouldn't be able to play.
Right. It seems pretty silly, It's almost not even. It is and it isn't. It's because it's not like IEM and WESG even work together. Like, it's two completely separate companies. Like, they've got nothing to do with each other. But if I remember correctly, WESG was announced first, so it's kind of like, well, you kind of need to adjust your own plans based on that, right? Or be upfront with those type of rules. Like, hey, like, just to let you know, if you go to this, you're probably we're not going to let you play an IEM. We're not going to.
WESG even said, hey, like, IEM never even reached out to us about this.
Right.
Right? They're like, we could have shuffled stuff around, right? We're happy to try to make this work.
Right. Willing to, shuffle it around and try to help. But yeah, just not even reaching out. So it's kind of bizarre. It's one of these things like, how did this even happen? Like, who was in charge? Like, who thought this was a good idea? It wasn't me, but I blame Bob. But,
but yeah. Yeah, I saw this happening, right? It seemed like a train wreck. So I just kind of said, hey, you know what? I'm just gonna throw an event for these guys, guys and girls, and I'll throw down $1,000, for prize pool, and we'll make this thing happen, right?
Right.
And it kind of exploded far beyond what I anticipated. I just checked the Matcherino. It's at like $2,650 in prize pool now. Just a crazy jump from the community. The Matcherino guys are making us up. And I probably shouldn't say this yet, but they'll forgive me. But we're going to have I Got DQ'd from Pyongchang Invitational t-shirts that you'll be able to get.
Excellent.
It's just turned into this whole big thing. Katz was tweeting, joking that he wasn't even going to play in the qualifier, but now he was contemplating playing in the South American qualifier just so he could get disqualified. So I would invite him to my event. It's pretty crazy. Obviously
amazing community support, really.
Yeah. And I do want to throw out there, I know you mentioned, Scarlet, Special, Neeb, and Jon Snow. I'm talking with some folks. It sounds like, I'm not 100% sure yet, I need to confirm that Kelazor may have wound up in the same spot through the South American qualifiers. If that is correct and true, we will be inviting him as well. this isn't just for the NA guys. The NA guys just got most obviously impacted by it, and that just kind of lined up with the timing of everything.
Right.
But I want to make sure that all those guys get a shot to have a fun event, and obviously we're not going to have the same sort of prize pool that IEM was giving them, but we can give them a little bit something, and hopefully give them a good time and show them that we love them and support them, and
yeah, absolutely. And I've included the Match Arena link in the chat there if anyone would like to check that out, and if you'd like to be a part of that prize pool, feel free.
Toast, you mentioned that Apollo was going to look into this about the NA guys. Damon, what happens if they somehow work it that these guys can actually attend or qualify for IEM in some way? How's that going to affect?
Honestly, at this point, it won't. Right? Like we'll still run the event. They still got disqualified, right? Like we can still kind of have some fun and some memory with it. Provided that none of the donators ask for their money back, we'll continue running as we are planning to. If they do, obviously, I will refund them, and I will still run the event with my original $1,000 that I promised. Just because I said we were going to run an event, by God, we'll run an event.
Right.
Mm. It'll be interesting to see what comes of it from IEM's end. Obviously, Apollo specified a quick timeline response, but maybe not realistic given how complicated changing something like that would be. And they've already run the qualifier, and the players, Cham and Panda Bear Me, have been told they're going, right? So that puts them in quite a bind. Like, I'll just put my thinking cap on, maybe like have some sort of on-site open bracket, or but it's really hard when you've already got the guys and run the qualifier. So
yeah,
I hope they can find a way without sort of screwing over Panda Bear Me and Cham, or open bracket the rest of the guys. But it's
right, like you can't. Well, and that's an important thing to bring up too, right? Is like Panda Bear Me and Cham qualified, right? No solution that unqualifies them or disqualifies them at this point is reasonable or acceptable, right? Like you can't say, oh, here, good, congratulations, you qualified. Oh, just kidding, right? Like that's not okay. So yeah, you're right. Like I don't see a way that IEM kind of gets out of this, right? Like they're in a really rough spot. Even if they did something like you said, if they said, hey, we're doing an on-site open bracket, who's paying for travel to fly these people to China for an open bracket, right? Like, especially when they're not allowed to wear their team jerseys or anything like that because it's an Olympic event. I don't think that's a solution people are going to be happy with unless they're footing the bill. And I mean, it's possible, but
yeah, it just seems like a lot.
We haven't mentioned how awesome it is as well that this event is actually running. Like StarCraft 2 as a sort of prelude to Olympics, if you will, the Winter Olympics. It's massive for the sport, really, and for the players involved. And as you mentioned, obviously the won't be wearing team uniforms or something, but that's still pretty damn big for the teams. So it's really great for StarCraft and those that have already qualified. If you want to pull it up, Toast, but
I feel bad too. The IEM is taking a lot of hate over this, and like I get it, right? Like yes, they screwed up here. This needed to be handled differently or better. But like this is a huge, awesome event that IEM is helping put on, right? Like the community needs to not lose sight of that, right? Don't criticize where they've screwed up, but remember the places and the times and the things that they've done well also.
Right. But yeah, it just seems like a big kind of cluster, but it is what it is. It's kind of just a jumble. It's, I guess when it's something new like this, like where you're trying to like bring it to like, like an Olympic level, right? There's a bunch of things that like go in with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's that first step, isn't it? Really. So there was talk of like boycotting IEM by some people on Team Liquid or maybe Twitter. That they've done a few things for StarCraft before. People make mistakes. That's probably not needed. They seem to be trying to work around it, but mistakes happen, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, so hopefully you guys tune into to Damon's channel for that. That'll be on twitch.tv/FilthyRake for that. Do we know who's casting that event yet? Is it going to be Fear Dragon? Is it going to be Gauntlet?
Yeah, it's going to be Gauntlet.
Okay, cool. Nice.
They've actually done. They've been huge for this whole thing. They're doing basically all of the actual organization, so that I can just run it on my channel and hand out the money and not have to do too much of the actual work, which is my favorite way to run an event. Yeah, so big shout out to those guys.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it. And then finally, we did have some community questions. So we asked on Twitter the other day, any suggestions or changes you'd like to see for OSC 2018 events, points, formats, competition rewards, region support, etc. And we got a couple of interesting replies. A Latin American weekly was something that Jim Rising would like to do, but it got bumped after BlizzCon. So that's something that we're going to try to get back into for 2018. So having that Latin American weekly, I think, kind of paired up with the Taco Cup, right? That was kind of the thing that he was running.
Yeah. So he does that once or twice a year, but we want to have like a weekly tournament as well. Latin America is a very big part of OSC and as well as NA. So we'd like to get a regular tournament up for those guys and help develop that scene. There's actually huge numbers of participants from Latin America. And I think Calazor does things like Copa Brazil as well. So there's a lot of passion in that region. So we will look to have a cup up in 2018.
Yeah,
just got to get it all organized.
Looks like we're dropping a load of frames here. Why don't I go ahead and we'll take a real quick break here, guys. We'll get the stream reset and we will be right back with the end of our show. So all right, guys, we are back. Looks like we're back in the stable. Had a bit of a hiccup there. I apologize. We should be good to go now. Looks like everything is stable once again. So appreciate you hanging in there with us. Well, we got that figured out. So what we were talking about just before was community questions. So if you guys have any questions, about OSC or for us, feel free to ask in the chat here. We did have a couple of questions brought up via Twitter, so we'll get into those real quick. Will the OSC championship continue? Eddie, that was one of the questions that was asked.
Yeah, yes, it will probably. It's been a huge success, as we mentioned earlier, in getting people to play StarCraft, as well as teams picking up players and supporting them. I think it's been pretty well received by the teams that we've talked to as well. Obviously, more money in their pockets, and the data from the event that's tied into the actual league itself. And then we're going to have the stream finals coming up. So, yeah, I think it will continue for sure.
Excellent.
Probably maybe a few little changes. There's definitely things we could do to improve it. Maybe some like streamed show matches throughout the season, just because that is probably not as for those not playing in it, like casual viewer, they might not be aware of the season that's ongoing, obviously, because it's played through tournaments, not head to head. So maybe we can bring a bit more attention and showcase the players team versus team or something. That we'll look at that. Any suggestions are always welcome. As we mentioned in the tweet, anything, send it through to oscsc2@gmail.com or reach out to one of the managers or on our Discord. There's always people around.
Excellent. Yeah, great. It was a good first year. So excellent that to see it possibly moving forward, because I think it's great. Being able to do something like that, I think it's really, really impressive. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to let us know here. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and we'll move on to some of our challenge match results. So let me go ahead and I'll bring those up here for you guys. So we had Flood beating Wild Game 3-1 for a 75-point bet. Jim Rising beating Winter for a 75-point and a 3-2. Azure beating Yours 3-1. Starkiller beating Wally 3-1. Game Time 3-0ing Probe, and Starkiller 3-1ing Mio Micah. Starkiller is very active with these challenges. Not only just two, in these recent results, but every week it seems like he's challenging someone else.
King of ZVZ. He's won like probably 80% of his show matches, so he's getting a lot of points that way. It's very smart, and he backs himself in. Obviously, if you win, you take all the points. If you lose your points. So he's won more than his fair share. He's challenging good players too. You know, obviously they have to be fairly close in level. He's playing guys like Mia Mike, Volts, who else? Winter, like challenger level Zergs, you know, like sort of, you know, top 100 foreigner sort of thing. So he's got good ZVZ, and that in addition to his participation and tournament results, like he plays in everything almost, and he can get top 2, top 4 quite often. So as a result, I think he's like up now, like number 6 in the OSC World Rankings with everything combined, and he's like over 160 tournaments played for the year. The guy's a machine. He's on fire. And he's going to get a really good seed and probably paycheck in the championship as a result of that. So
yeah, absolutely. And probably, you know, speaking to just probably one of the best players on Dust right now and really showing off his talents. So good for them for, you know, for finding someone like him and kind of developing him, you know, and turning him into the ZVZ monster that he is today.
Yeah, he's been on the team a long time too, so they've been supporting him for quite a while there. Yeah. And I think on my Twitter feed, I saw he won some sort of LAN championship recently while I was on holidays, maybe too. So
yeah, it was for something for his school, I believe. So kind of a cool thing. I think it was his school at least. But very cool thing.
So he's one of the NA rising challengers for 2018 WCS, you'd have to say, along with maybe like Game Time, a couple of others, you know, Volts, all these Zergs. Like you said, Game Time 3.0 Pro. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's not an easy feat by any means. So, absolutely. But definitely. And then just to finish it off, here we did have Nice beat Probe in a 3-0, Flood beating Penguin 3-1, and then Starkiller again beating Future for a 100-point bet. So very, very, very good. And all those VODs can be seen here on the channel. If you click our video section, you can go ahead and rewatch any and all of those games that you would like. We also do have some of our recent tournament results here, as you can see. Our Proxy Tempest EU Open number 98, as well as some of the Masters Cups. We kind of already reviewed all of those. So, but just kind of the typical crew that you would see, you know, the standards, I guess you could say, you know. Mio's in there, Poppy Joe Showtime, you know, Gumiho cleaning house, you know, in those two OSC Master tournaments. So always good to see those guys winning tournaments. Yeah,
there's tournaments for all levels. Obviously, you got things like the SCV Rush, smaller cups, right up to Masters Cups. You got NA Cups like the Filthy Weekly, C Weeklies. So many tournaments, so many tournament winners. So that's fantastic to see.
Yeah, and as you can see, this is why, you know, we have all these events because there's so many of them obviously going on. So it's pretty easy to see why we got to 500. You know, with just everything happening. And then yeah, finally, then we have brings us to our bounty board, as you can see here. So claiming some of these bounties are Cham claiming the Euthermal bounty in a 2-1, Future claiming the bounty on Cham in a 2-0, Scarlet beating Soul 2-0. The Riddler beating Demi 2-1, Niastic beating Demi 2-0, Tudming 3-2ing Neeb. Now that's a good one. That's a good bounty. What was the bounty on Neeb, Eddie? Do you remember?
Yeah, I think $75. So it's nice little paycheck for one series there. They're all in any partnered event in a best of 3+ series. If you defeat any of the, I think 30+ players we've got bounties on, you pocket the money, providing like you haven't beaten them every time before or something like that. But yeah, a nice little incentive just to play in every tournament. Don't have to win the tournament, just win the series.
Yeah. Game Time 2-0ing Nice. Game Time 3-1ing Jon Snow to claim that bounty. And then finally Shauna 2-1ing Nice for our final bounty. So a lot of bounties, so make sure you're checking that, guys, too, to see if, you know, someone that you're beating in these tournaments, you know, we don't want these to go unclaimed. Right, because I'm sure that's happening too. These people, you know, they're not on top of their bounty boards, so make sure you're staying on top of your bounty board. You know, maximizing your income with StarCraft. But yeah, that kind of brings us to the end here. It doesn't look like we had anyone fire us in any other questions. But if you ever do have questions, feel free to tweet at OSC or at Eddie or even myself if you have, you know, questions that you would like us to bring up, you know, for a future show.
So I'm sure someone is in the audience has been wondering, but was just too shy to ask. So I'm sure someone out there is wondering, Damon, FlithyRake, how did you get so devilishly handsome?
CrossFit.
We had to just mute the whole chat because it was just insane.
Yeah. I know. I honestly, I was just born this way. It's the sheer power of my awesomeness just kind of melded itself into this physical form. So now you guys know for the future you don't have to worry about asking the hard questions.
Yep.
Same thing. You also do like personal workout streams or gym streams or something?
I do. I do a lot of fitness streams. I've been on a bit of a break, but they'll be starting up again pretty soon.
Filthy Fitness. So you can get fit with Damon, or you can just watch him get fit, whatever floats your boat. So, but thank you for joining us tonight, Damon. We really appreciate you being here and walking us over some of the cool stuff that you've got coming up. Really appreciate it.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. It's been great talking with you guys.
Yeah, Eddie, as always, great to have you back. Great to have you here with me, helping me out.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Looking forward to the next few weeks and what we can do in 2018. I'm really excited. I didn't get to say about the Filthy Weekly, but as the sort of NA Weekly Cup, I'm looking forward to the time change for that. And Fear Dragon, he's the NA guy, right? So Gauntlet production will be missed, but he's really good at it as well. So looking forward to that 2018 NA Challenger coming up. I got DQ tournament, a lot of good stuff coming. So yeah, gonna be good.
Perfect. All right, guys. Well, that's all we have for you today. Be sure to tune in about 2 weeks. Eddie, are we going to do another show this month for the end of the year?
Yeah, let's do one after the season concludes, which is we'll probably do it a few days after. So 2 weeks. Let's aim for that.
Perfect. All right, guys. Well, we'll see you live again in 2 weeks. Until then, take care. Get out there grinding, and don't forget to proxy 2Gate. All right. Thanks, guys, for watching. Appreciate you.